Hey guys, another video here. I am still a tiny bit sick, so if my voice sounds weird, we're just gonna blame it on that. But to jump right in, so if you guys ever played the Cult of the Lamb game, you'll know that you can eventually marry some of the followers. And you can actually marry multiple of the followers. So I just thought it'd be fun to try and draw the ones I've married as more character looking than just their little chibi version. So first up is a character named Narinder. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And he is one that I see a lot of people who play the game end up marrying him, and I think it's just because he has immortality. He's kind of a big character in the story plot, not to give too much away. But basically, for his design, I end up putting any type of married character. I do give them special clothing, so that's where his cloak comes from, and that hat is because right now he is kind of like a tax collector role in the little cult. So I thought he kind of liked his hat, so I decided to add it to this design. He has dog ears. I think he kind of looks like one of the Umumusume girls in the way I drew him, but I did keep the dog ears in. I did keep all the animal ears in for each of the characters to try to give them their little ode to how they would look in the game. Doing his clothing was a little bit difficult. I kind of didn't know exactly how to match it to the reference drawing. I think I do like the way it turned out though, just kind of doing an open tunic over a closed one. Coloring was all just directly color sampled for him, which makes it pretty easy, except for his skin tones. I was gonna match that, but I didn't want to. I thought that was a little too much gray, so I did end up giving them all the characters actual human skin tones. But shading, really simple. I did mess with the purple a little bit to make sure it stood out enough and was lighter to give him some contrast. All in all, he was a lot of very dark colors, but I do feel like that matches the character. He was one that did not want to be married at first, actually. He was unhappily married. That trait did go away eventually, so I guess I was a good husband or something to him. Getting the right skin tone definitely took me a second. I could not figure out. It kind of doesn't, I feel like, show in the speed paint, but I definitely was messing around with it more. But I did go with almost a more purpley undertone-ish look, like red purple undertones. But I do think it turned out really good. It matches the colors. I feel like it looks right on him. I do very pink shading every time. Like I always do very bright red for the blush, and I'll add like the extra blush of just almost like a pink or purple. And again, I did keep his little bag in for him being a tax collector because I thought he liked that. And then just color the line art, which I did actually do this time, and he is about done. There you can see his finished design with kind of his character next to him. I'm really happy with the way he turned out. I think he looks great. And off to the next character. Now, Beer or Bear, I think Beer is how you maybe pronounce that, was the only one that actually requested to marry me in the game. So I did kind of want to include that into her design, giving her kind of a more like simpish kind of look almost, as well as like almost the fur pattern, trying to put into her hair, like how they have the like kind of side spikes on their hair. I put it into hers in her more human looking design. Again, keeping her pose almost simpish, I guess. I even gave her like a little drawing of the lamb, which is the character you play in the game. Um, she is also the one I have not given her own personal outfit yet, so she is wearing the basic kind of followers clothing. I just haven't ever got around to that, so she's stuck in that for now. Um, keeping her hair color the same. She does have fur patterns on her like, animal form, so I did want to kind of put those into her more human design, just adding onto her hair and tail, kind of like different colors, little pattern variation, keeping everything pretty simple still. My only thing, which y'all will see, I don't remember when I kind of go back and change it. I actually think I made her too purple. I did want her. I thought the skin color wasn't matching right. I didn't like how it looked on her. So I was like, oh, I tried to brighten it up almost, but I think I just made it a little too purple. I did shade with purple to kind of match everything. I do like using a purple shading a lot for characters, but I think I just wasn't liking it. And I don't know. I think I should have just maybe restarted with it and made it a different color almost. But I think it just kind of went like you can see, I just literally added purple over it. And I do think it works almost, but almost too purple or pink on the skin tone there. But it's done is done. I did not go back and change it. So Again, color sampling for everything, trying to keep the little clothing patterns in her shirt. Then here I'm just adding the very last couple details. I did make her eyes purple and did end up adding the hearts into her eyes finally with the sparkles. Gave her lots and lots of blush to kind of keep with that simpy look almost. And then that's how her design turned out. I think she's very cute. So on to the next character. This is Nonyon. I might be pronouncing the name totally wrong, but it's fine. It's a game character, so no one will know. Maybe you clicked on this video because of this character. I can't judge because I'm the one who drew them. So that aside, I actually do not remember the origins of this character. I don't remember when I married them. I don't really remember much about them. I just was kind of going through and was like, oh, I'll draw them, and I found them. So I can't really say much about them. I decided to give them a very sassy pose and facial expression. I thought that would match with how they looked. Again, I didn't really know much about them, so I can't really say much anyway. For her hair, I did switch it up from the first one, even though they do have the same kind of fur shape. I did change it up to make hers more messy and kind of aloof looking, just so I didn't have two characters the exact same one. And I did also give her kind of a bigger, more pointed lashes. And I did add freckles kind of all over her. And again, adding even more pointed lashes just to keep, I felt like it added to the sassiness of her overall look. Again, color sampling directly from the character. And as well as in a moment, I do add um, the fur kind of patterns into her hair as just different kind of streaks in it, which I do think added a really cool look for her hair. I don't normally do characters with multicolored hair anymore. I used to all the time, and I haven't done it in a while. I didn't do direct white on her apron. I color sampled, and I did realize it was kind of an off blue, which I do think it worked well, matching her hair as well as not having a direct white for the character. Shading with blue because it kind of a lot of blue themed was in here, so just adding more subtle blue in it. And just ignore those stickers randomly popping up in the corner. I'm having notifications popping up that some of them have stuff I don't need to be put up online, so just ignore those. That might be there every once in a while. But her eyes, I kind of just sorry, my voice is kind of going out right now, so try to get that back. Again, sorry if my voice just keeps sounding weird throughout this entire video. I am still a little bit sick. So for her skin tone, she's the only character I also gave vitiligo to, which I see a lot of people doing when they turn more animal looking characters into human. I think it's super, super pretty looking, and I really like the way it turned out on her. She's probably one of my favorites out of the ones I've done. Again, I did very like I had a lot of times do very pink or purple shading on characters that I draw. I don't know, I just really like the way it looks, and a lot of blush kind of all over. So adding that, and again, it was kind of just the last couple details, coloring line art. A lot of time I'll do two different colors when I do line art coloring. And there is her finished design. And last but not least would be Poppy. Poppy was my first wife that I married in the game. She was also my very, very first follower, actually. So she was one that I really liked her character. Again, my first follower in the game. And then she actually got murdered originally. You can resurrect characters. But when she got murdered, I did not know how to deal with that. So there was two buttons on the mouse, right click and left click. One was prepare them for burial, and one was harvest the meat to eat. I did not click the right one. So I actually harvested her meat, and I was like panicking because I was like, I can't resurrect her yet. And I thought that meant I could never resurrect her. I did find out that actually you can still resurrect a character. So later on, I did go and I resurrected her in the game and eventually married her because you can't marry them right off the bat. She's one I really like the way she turned out. She actually does have like an evil trait, so I kind of tried to keep that more in her expression. Color wise, I did keep her colors. Again, it's color sampled, very simple. She does have her own personal outfit. Kind of, I think this is supposed to be actually like the fancy like wedding dress one. So her being kind of my first wife, she gets to wear that one. She has the necklace, so I kept her with her necklace. Kind of trying to do kind of my version of how that would look. She was the only one that I didn't actually give her pupils. I did color her eyes a little differently than I normally did, and just kept her with kind of a simple hair. I really like the way her hair is kind of more soft and bubbly. It kind of matched that outline there a little bit. And again, did give her hair two different colors. Um, so there wasn't much else left to add, just coloring her skin tone. Again, very kind of peachy, bright colors for line art and shading. For blush and shading, I mean. I as well do color kind of the inside of my liner in a few different spots, especially on the skin, especially hands and kind of some facial features I do color. So there her design is, and thank you for watching. And remember, kids, if they don't have paws, it's not a furry. And have a great rest of your night. Bye bye.